For me, the priority that he laid out that is the most important for the state of Illinois is an infrastructure investment program. We passed one in 2009 that was due to last for 5 years, and that's now expired. If you ask any citizen across the state of Illinois, are our roads in good shape? I think they would answer no. We have water and sewer main breaks routinely, and engineers that are looking at our bridges are telling us that if they're not failing, they're headed in that direction. So I think a substantial infrastructure program, one that has a fairly significant investment in it, is going to be critically important for the state. It's a challenge, no doubt, because while members of the General Assembly are happy to spend money on projects, raising the revenue to pay for them is the more difficult piece of that equation, and that's the side that will require a significant amount of work. I was happy to see that the governor made reference to the very significant step that we took with pensions. To my mind, we did turn a corner, but we have a lot more corners to go around if we're going to address our budget difficulties. Pensions was one piece of that. He mentioned the Medicaid reforms that we did to address about $1.7 billion in the Medicaid program. We still have to exercise a lot of discipline going forward. We still have a backlog of unpaid bills. We have the challenges with the rollback of the income tax, and we just still have rising budget pressures from a number of sources in our budget that have to be addressed. And so we're not out of the woods yet, but we have made I would agree with the governor, we've made some very significant strides forward. There's no doubt that investment in early childhood education is critically important for success down the road, especially for at-risk children. The state of Illinois has historically done a very good job of that, and we were on the forefront of it. In our recent budget woes in the last several years, we've fallen behind on that. So I fully support that. It is going to be very difficult to balance that with our other competing demands to how do we fund that and not other very worthwhile and necessary programs. But I think that early childhood has to be a priority for us because it does pay such benefits down the road. I think there's a lot of questions that I have regarding an increase in the minimum wage, its impact on teen employment, how it impacts small businesses, the differences between cost of living downstate and in the Chicago region. And so I think we need to have a very thorough dialogue and a very thorough vetting of the minimum wage proposal before we would take action on that. As I look down the road and anticipate what the governor should focus on in his budget speech, I think he's going to have to be very clear about how we are going to get through the next couple of fiscal years with the rollback of the income tax increase, and what that, if that were to expire, what that means in very specific terms for spending on our priorities of education, higher education, public safety, because that will have some very immediate and I think dire consequences. So understanding that and conveying that not only to legislators but to the public is going to be critically important. And then opening up a discussion of how are we going to meet those needs if we want to meet those needs. It doesn't have to just be an extension of the income tax increase. Could we look at a broadening of the sales tax base? Every surrounding Midwestern state has a broader sales tax base than does Illinois. So that doing something like that would not put us at any competitive disadvantage with surrounding Midwestern states. There's a lot of discussion around a progressive income tax. So we have alternatives, and I think we need to engage the public in that discussion of what should our tax structure look like.